Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. Today we're going to be covering American Resources Corporation, and to be able to kind of show why this stock has finally started coming back into a great looking bull run. Also to be able to combat and see a little bit onto where they are going into the new resistance lines, and also to be able to show just how fast this company is starting to scale, and also what they have to look for in the future. So let's get into it. So right now the stock has a current price of $3.92 a share, which is pretty low from its 52-week high of over $7 a share, but that has been over the course of the past couple of months, ending from the end of 2025 into 2026. Now, since the beginning of 2026, over the course of this last month, AREC has been steadily on the incline due to a lot of new contracts that they've been getting, along with a lot of their new shipment strategies and forthcoming profits that they've been pursuing, and also obtaining different mineral chains and also getting more direct into their battery basis for ReElement Technologies. So with the stock sitting where it is right now at $3.92 a share, if you kind of bridge the gap and see where a lot of their candles kind of fell on bottoms and tops going all the way back to October of 2025, you can kind of see that there is a bit of a line in between the 415 to the 418 price per share marker. So I'm going to make a line straight across on 414 just so you can kind of see where a lot of these candles ended up on tops and bottoms all the way through. So it kind of seems that they ended up breaking through a resistance for a couple of days, and they just ended up opening below that resistance line on today, but they still ended the day on a bullish note. Now, on the bottom end, with it being roughly about $2.53 a share, you can see how it had repeatedly stayed bounding even back into October. It kept testing this resistance line, and it ended up breaking below it just for a short period of time. So this stock is still trending pretty bullish and staying within a decent resistance coverage, between $2.50 a share and $4 a share. So it's not too volatile, to be able to say the least. So, but off of the stock itself and kind of looking at what's actually going on right now, ReElement Technologies, and I know I'm going to butcher this, SAGINT, mint world's first utility token. So Sagent. I'll figure out the exact pronunciation here soon, but for this video you have to bear with me. So enabling DFARS ready supply chain traceabilities. So it's a blockchain based utility token that demonstrates end-to-end provenance with compliance readiness and auditability for refined rare earth oxides. That is the point for this utility token that has just been created for critical minerals. It's something that hasn't been used before, and it's something that they're more or less looking at trying to get into, considering ReElement under American Resources Corporation is kind of a trailblazer in their own sense, because they are the only company that can do what they do. So they are so far being a leading provider of blockchain-based digital asset infrastructures. So today, Sagent announced the successful minting of the world's first utility token for critical minerals, demonstrating technical readiness to support compliance with the U.S. Department of War's Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement, or the DFARS requirements. So this utility token is minted within a privately operated SU Layer 1 blockchain environment, which delivers immutable end-to-end traceability for refined neodymium oxide produced at ReElement's Noblesville, Indiana refining facility. So this token is going to establish a verifiable chain of custody across sourcing, processing, and refining, and it's also designed to function as an internal compliance and audit instrument for ReElement's refining platform and its customers. So this milestone is going to represent a absolutely astronomical advancement in the tokenization of real-world assets within the critical minerals sector. So by integrating Sagent's institutional-grade blockchain platform with ReElement's advanced refining operations is going to make this utility token to where it captures and cryptographically records key data points, including material origin, processing integrity, and mass balance, creating a tamper-resistance provenance record. So the system is designed to streamline compliance workflows, enhance supply chain transparency, and also support secure trade finance for U.S. manufacturers and defense contractors. So this is going to end up being a huge advancement for not only ReElement and American Resources Corporation, but in securing a huge part in securing America's critical mineral supply chain. So by minting this utility token, they're not only going to be demonstrating readiness for DFARS compliance, but they're establishing a whole new framework for traceability that's going to support strictly U.S. manufacturers. So this is going to bridge a huge physical commodity with digital solutions, which is going to help increase the U.S.'s national security as well as the U.S.'s economic resilience. So the Sagent's platform provides the end-to-end digital infrastructure for tokening critical minerals and rare earth elements, which is establishing minerals to be tracked from the mine to the market. So each processing stage is cryptographically recorded to create an immutable chain of custody, meaning that nobody's going to be able to bring in some crappy mineral from, per se, they get a bad batch of lithium from China. Well, they would be able to tell that if it's not tokened properly and there was no digital asset tracing of a token from a specific batch of minerals that ReElement would be refining, they'd be able to pinpoint and reject whatever it is to make sure that what they're refining is up to their specs and purity levels, so then they can always make sure to be putting out a solid product that they're refining, and also to make sure that purities and a lot of different refining capabilities, and so they can dig deeper into what they need to do to properly refine said material. So, but Sagent's digital platform is also going to incorporate automated compliance features relevant to defense and regulated markets, including the validation of material origins against restricted jurisdictions, sanction screenings, investor verification, and secured party interest tracking under the UCC, Article 12, providing a unified system to support regulatory and commercial requirements across all jurisdictions. So that is just going to end up taking everything into this blockchain structure and push everything forward, and to also further secure everything for ReElement's modular solvent-free refining platform, so then they can continue to push forward with their rapid deployment and also be able to co-location feedstock sources to lower capital and operating costs. So this new integrated approach that they're going into is going to position ReElement to strengthen supply chain resilience while also supporting long-term industrial competitiveness with national security and sustainable growth, because they are pushing so hard into the U.S. market and being covered by the U.S. Department of War with all of these different minerals and elements that they are going to be refining. Then they are going to be under some heavy scrutiny, but it's not going to be in a bad light because they are setting all of this up the right way before they start hitting massive gains in their refining processes. So, but not only did they have this collaboration with Sagent, and they have all of this new integrated stuff with these utility tokens to be able to be more or less a core sample to make a fingerprint on the specific minerals that's coming in for ReElement to refine. It's going to be bringing in a new huge setup where now American Resources has now received their initial 2026 shipment of end-of-life lithium-ion batteries. So that is once again going to advance the United States circular critical minerals supply chain, because now the EMCO, the Electrified Materials Corporation, has been looking and bringing in all of these end-of-life lithium-ion batteries from multiple domestic and international sources at its Noblesville, Indiana disposition site, where EMCO is now pursuing of all of those end-of-life batteries and giving them over to ReElement Technologies. So then ReElement can enable in a real-time, closed-loop, full life cycle solution for critical battery materials to be able to rejuvenate and reprocess batteries, which was something that was thought completely impossible and also ahead of our time. So them being able to take all of these along with magnets as well for for manufacturing all of the so-called scrap is what we would call it, because they're just dead batteries and dead magnets where they don't do very much at all. So with them building up all of this to be able to continue refining all of these products that nowhere else in the world is really doing at a very clear rate or a high percentage rate of the material being fully recycled, then it's just going to show that ReElement Technologies is going to be blowing American Resources straight up the food chain whenever it comes to having all of these new American mines that are coming up and about to start going online, that once they start bringing in a lot more of these tokened and more or less sealed and signed for all of these different materials that's going to be coming out of the U.S. soil, they're going to be able to start refining the process from the beginning to the end. And not only just that, but recycling old into new. There's so far there, I have still yet to find another company that has this kind of technology that they have, and or be on this scale that American Resources has ReElement on, to also have government contracts along with pushing so hard for them to continue bolstering more and more, not just compliance with the U.S. government for having all these sanctions, but also being able to pull in all of these different areas for recycling these different materials that was thought to be unrecyclable. So I believe this stock is going to continue this bull run. and I believe it's going to end up making this breakthrough. It's not going to surprise me at all whenever it comes back above $4 a share and stays there, because it hasn't had any bad news come out as of yet. And also with them getting their first shipment in, and they're going to continue to refine what they're doing, then it's just going to continue saying for itself, where they're going to start now bringing in more revenue than what they had, because now they're going to start keeping a solid influx of these different minerals that's going to be refined. So that's just something that I'm looking forward to see this company start taking off the way it originally was about 6 months ago. So with all that being said, that's all I've got on American Resources Corporation. If y'all made it this far in the video, thank y'all. I hope y'all liked the video, and if you did, drop a like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one, because the next one, I'm bringing a new stock into the channel, so I hope y'all are ready for that. So, this is the Stock Warden, riding off. See y'all come back now, you hear?